This is RadioFire.com. Yours truly, Diamond K, in here. Thank you for joining me. Broadcasting from the Radio and Fire studios here in Baltimore, Maryland. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by the 2017 Baltimore Music Awards. Nominations now underway for the 7th annual red carpet event. All Baltimore artists, DJs, radio stations, radio shows are eligible. Visit BaltimoreMusicAwards.com and enter your choices before October the 9th. The nominees, 3 nominees receiving the most nominations will move on to the next round. And finals will be announced Wednesday, October the 11th, live on the Diamond K Morning Show and at BaltimoreMusicAwards.com. So with that being said, today is always, every year around this time when the Artscape comes here in Baltimore, it always takes me back to losing DJ K Swift. She lost her life during Artscape weekend back in 2008. So the Club Queen, DJ K Swift, well-known DJ here in the Baltimore area. And so it was always controversy surrounding her death. She, from the autopsy, drowned in her swimming pool during a party at her house. So it's full of people there, and she drowns in the pool. So the reportedly, she jumped into this above ground pool. And so the police reports back then stated that there were 7 people in the pool at the time. So when she did not resurface, she was pulled out of the pool and placed onto a metal frame deck. And so she went to Good Samaritan Hospital later, where she was pronounced dead. And so, it always rubbed me the wrong way. It just didn't make sense, like the way that it happened. 7 people in the pool. She wasn't known to swim. Why did she jump in the pool? All that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's no sense, 9 years later, still being in the same spot. So, I mean, she had a funeral that really shut down. Was that Cold Spring, where Morgan State is? Was that Morgan State? Thousands of people came out for the funeral, the wake, and what's the other thing? Not the repast. Before that, before that, yeah, the wake is I guess it's the wake, the viewing of the body, right? The viewing, and so it was a lot. But anyway, so K Swift, female DJ. There were not a lot of female DJs at that time. There were not a lot of female DJs, and she was somebody who did Baltimore club music, but she could mix other forms of music. And I have a lot of fond memories of K Swift. Worked with her many occasions, many parties, many clubs, and I'm thinking back. So the Tunnel was a place that we worked together at, and it was a lot going on at that time, and it was a fun time. It was a fun time, and oh my goodness! So this happens right on air. So my mother, should I answer it? Should I answer now? I'm gonna do that. She hung up. Okay, so I wasn't gonna do that. Anyway, so we worked in the Tunnel, and then there was a second version of Hammerjacks that it wasn't the original Hammerjacks, so she didn't play the original Hammerjacks, but they had a second version of Hammerjacks, and we worked together there. Quicksilver was there, Kenny B was there, Super DJ Big L, Buckshot, DJ Paradise. I'm just thinking back to all the DJs that were there. But it was a good time. And I initially met Swift in the record store in Westview Mall. And Swift, she wasn't, well, I guess she was K Swift, but she wasn't known at that time. She was just trying to come up And like a lot of DJs who are out and who are popular now, they used to come to the record store, just trying to get their records and trying to make a name for themselves. So I've seen pretty much all of them, especially the ones that are younger than me. They definitely came through our store to get music. But K-Swift, she didn't. I mean, she stood out to me because she was a female, and this was a male-dominated thing. But she would come through, and she was really excited about club music. But she did hip hop as well, and she started DJing. At the college that she was going to, I think she was going to Catonsville. Started DJing there, trying to do their parties. They had this place called The Barn that used to have parties. Have you ever been to The Barn before? Okay, no problem. You weren't there, so there's no need to cry with spilled milk. But if you weren't there, just say you weren't there. No, I'm just messing with you. But it was fun. But see, she could not DJ at this time. She was on a come up. And as time went, I'm like, okay, she doesn't know how to blend the records. But every time we have something on this campus, she's got to be there because she is at the campus. And so she hadn't reached her groove yet. But she quickly reached her groove. She started working at the Twilight Zone. Did you ever go to the Twilight Zone? Okay, so you didn't go to clubs, pretty much. Okay. So with the Twilight Zone, working there. So in the Twilight Zone, I started to pay attention to her because then she knew how to blend the records. She knew what records to play. And so she's a female. And so it's just like, it just clicked because people were like, oh my God, it's a female DJ. And so, even though her skill set wasn't at that prime spot yet, she was building a good name for herself. And, she started with her club mixes and her whole thing jumped off, and she started a whole movement. She had her Club Queen Entertainment, her Next Level, like her whole thing. She really got it jumping, of course, on 92Q and doing a lot of things. And she touched a lot of artists, made a lot of fans. And, it's really good. A lot of times people get confused and think that she was an artist, like she made songs. So she didn't make songs. She played songs, and she was a tastemaker that played music, but she didn't actually make, like, she didn't go in the booth and say, yo, 1 2 1 2, is this thing on? Like, she didn't do that. But she was a DJ, and she did a lot, and I definitely miss her. She now initially when I met her, she was the big K-Swift, right? You know how they say like the big Luther, like she was the big K-Swift, and then later on, over time, through the advent of surgeries and good eating, I guess, she lost a lot of weight, and so in her later years she was smaller, but both K-Swift still loved her like a sister. Very, very good person. So always around this time, we think back, and I don't really like to go to Artscape because to me it's just like it looms, like the presence for me looms over. I think I went maybe last year, 2 years ago, when I was living downtown. I went, and it was cool, but it wasn't. I don't stay like too long. Kind of gotta go through, check out people. Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? But it just, to me, I always remember like that was her last DJing spot, was at the Artscape, and then she had the party at her house, and of course we all know what happened there. So a lot of people sending their love. Shout out to Pork Chop, shout out to Squirrel Wide, and just everybody. It's just too many people to mention, but she was definitely one of the good ones. Great person, DJ K-Swift, the Club Queen. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Definitely share your stories. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at The Diamond K Show, at Radio on Fire.